when I think about the integrated city, I think about a city that hangs together, a city with a lot of differences, because I think differences is very important in the integrated city, and the differences could be large. That's not a problem, as I see it. The problem is when these differences between people, for example, becomes connected to their opportunities and living conditions, for example, health, access to education, employment, and so on. Then the differences become a problem, and then the city is not integrated, but perhaps disintegrated. So for me, the integrated city is a city that hangs together both materially, socially, and culturally, I would say. And again, that an asset in the integrated city is its differences. So that's my main take on the integrated city. I also see a lot of problems when talking about the integrated city. We always and very often, not always, but very often, think about ethnicity. But of course, integration is something much more bigger than that. Integration is, as I said, about things coming together to unity, to create something emergent. And if you ask like a computer programmer or someone working with code, they would probably say that integration is more about systems coming together and so on. And if you ask someone working at the European Union, they would probably come to think about the integrated approach of European city planning and so on. So integration is something much more than just ethnicity, but in Sweden we often think about ethnicity. That also connects to the other part of the problem with the term of integration, and that is that we often talk about integration as one part trying to integrate with the other. That is then more close to the definition of assimilation, I would say. So if we talk about integrated cities, we need to think that both of these parts need to come together and create something larger, to create something emergent. And we often forget that when talking about the integrated city. So if we want to create integrated cities, build and transform cities to become more integrated, we need to see cities as organisms, as living things that are in constant change, constant adoption. The materiality, the infrastructure, the buildings, the green environments, and of course the institutions. And us citizens, we need to adapt, to transform, and to change in order to create something new that is dependent on the contingent factors that are surrounding us. And that is, of course, not so easily done. Often we talk about creating more integrated cities by densification. We need to create more dense cities. And that is, of course, quite easy when you try to do it in parts of the city where the income is quite low, where the people's voices are not very used to using their voices and comfortable with using their voices and so on. So it's quite easy to make densifications in areas characterized by, for example, low-income households. But of course the real challenge is to make changes and to create the integrated city in the parts where the people with high incomes are living. And that requires a lot of courage, political courage, and also brave city planners, which could challenge the conceptions and the discourses of the existing cities. So that is a real challenge, and in order to create integrated cities we need that kind of courage, I think. But we also need knowledge. We also need knowledge about where people want to live, how they want to live, and how they want to live in relation to their work, in relation to where they do their shopping and other things. There are always people saying that people don't want to live integrated. people want to be segregated. People want to live with the households that are similar to them, and of course, it might be so. But I would say also that if we think it is like that, we could perhaps try to challenge that idea as well and see what happens if we don't live with people who are exactly like the same as us. But I would say that we need to find out more about people's preferences when it comes to how they want to live, with whom they want to live, and also trying to build on that knowledge base, but also to challenge it.